Senator Babet.
Thank you, President. My question is for the Minister representing the Treasurer, Minister Gallagher. Minister Gallagher, we meet again. Your October 2022 budget included a figure of $77 million that was in the Services Australia portfolio budget statement. This figure is the allowance for the COVID-19 vaccine claim scheme payouts for 2022-2023. At the time, this represented an 80-fold increase in allocation from the previous federal budget of just $937,000. My office is contacted every single day by people who, in good faith, trusted their government but are now paying for this decision with injury. They are suffering, and some in this place mock them to this day. Can you please update the Senate on the total amount that has been paid out by the COVID-19 vaccine claim scheme this current financial year, please?
Thank you, Senator Babet. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you, President. I thank Senator Babet for the question and for his advice ahead of time that he was going to ask a question on this. It greatly assists in being able to provide the information that the Senator is seeking. As the Senator outlined, the COVID-19 vaccine claims scheme was put in place during the COVID-19 pandemic and after the announcement of the approval of the vaccines and the vaccine program across Australia. The scheme was established as a fit-for-purpose, time-limited claim scheme to respond to the unprecedented circumstances of COVID-19. It was designed to ensure that people who've suffered a recognised adverse event as a direct result of the vaccine, COVID vaccine that is, have faster access to compensation than a costly and complex court process. It is for, there are 7 recognised clinical conditions which are eligible under the scheme, which I can go through, but in specifically in relation to Senator Babet's question, it's right, there was a provision of $77 million made. Total expenditure as of the 28th of March 2023 is in the order of $7.2 million. That Services Australia, who administer the scheme, has received 3,374 claims under the scheme, and as at the moment 126 claims have been approved for that total figure of just around $7.2 million.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Babet, first supplementary.
Thank you, Minister. Now, the TGA's most recent report shows that they've received 137,970 reported adverse events following COVID vaccination. That's the equivalent of 2.5 packed Marvel sports stadiums in Melbourne, big stadium. It appears that the number of claims will continue to grow. Minister, what amounts will your government be allocating to this scheme in the next budget, in the upcoming budget?
Thank you, Senator Babet. Minister.
Thank you, President. I thank Senator Babet for the supplementary. My understanding of the TGA's adverse events report is that they report against a range of possible, serious side effects, from lesser serious to more serious, as listed under the adverse events, and not all of those would necessarily be eligible for a claim through this scheme. But in the event that there was increased demand, it is a demand-driven scheme. That is, you can make certain provisions, but if there were, we would meet the costs of the applications, the successful applications that met the terms of the scheme and those 7 conditions, the 7 recognised clinical conditions which are eligible under the scheme. So it isn't really a question of whether we have enough money. It's a demand-driven scheme, and that compensation would be paid.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Babet, second supplementary.
Thank you, Minister. So obviously we've paid billions to pharmaceutical companies, and in return, Australians have been slogged with a huge compensation bill to pay for vax-injured people. What options does the government have to make these companies responsible and pay for the injuries that they created with a crappy product?
Thank you, Senator Babet. Minister.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Senator Babet, for the supplementary. Well, I don't agree with the characterisation of the COVID-19 as a crappy product. It has successfully vaccinated millions and millions of Australians and significantly decrease the chance of serious disease, particularly on vulnerable individuals. So I don't accept that. As to the commercial arrangements with the pharmaceutical companies, I think if people remember at the time, because the vaccine was developed in a relatively short period compared to others, there were commercial discussions about how to manage schemes and claims like this, but I can't go into those details. They are commercial in confidence.
Yeah, that's my kind of party.